Hey, what is up, Prealgebra? This is lesson 105. We're talking about compound average and rate problems. So really we're just going to be working with problems that involve more than one average or more than one rate. And be working with some of those today. So we're just going to go through 3 quick examples, and then I think you'll be set and ready to go. The first one here says, Blanca bought 200 shares of XYZ stock at an average price of $54 per share. Later she bought 100 more shares at $60 per share. What was the average price per share Blanca paid for all 300 shares of XYZ? So, first off, we have to realize, or we have to figure out how much she paid for the first set. So, first off, we said 200 shares, $50 per share. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 200 times the $54. That's going to tell me the total amount that she paid for those shares. So let's see, 54 times 2 would be 108. And then I'm going to add on those 2 zeros. That'll tell me how much she paid there for those first 200 shares. Next, it says that she bought 100 more at $60 per share. So we're going to say 100 times the 60. And so it's going to be a 60 with 2 more zeros after it. So $6,000 for those. And then we just need to figure out how much she paid in total. We already know that she has 300 shares total, right? Because 200 plus 100. In fact, they even told us down here, the 300. So let's see how much she paid altogether. So it'd be 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0, 8 plus 0, 0 plus 6. So 16,800 she's invested in all of this. And so we know that if, just like we were doing up here, 200 times how much you paid per share gives you this. 100 times 60, which is what she paid per share, gives you this. So 300 times some number is going to be probably between these two. It's going to be between those two. Is going to give us this number. So what we need to do is we need to take the 16,800 and divide by 300. So 16,800, I'm going to divide by 300. Or really, it's the same thing. It's going to be taking 168 and dividing it by 3. So it's going to go into that 5 times, because it's going to give me 15. Subtracting give me 1, bring down the 8. And it goes into that 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. So, on average, she paid $56 per share. Here's our next one, example 2. It says, after 3 games of bowling, Gabe's average score was 88. What score does Gabe need to average in his next 2 games to raise his average to 90? So let's think about how averages work. Remember how averages work is you just add up all the scores and divide it by the total number. So how they got this 88 was just to say whatever score he got, whatever score he got, whatever score he got, and then divided that by 3, and they got 88. So one possible score would just be 88, 88, and 88, right? That's one possible score. Obviously, there's a lot more. They could have gotten 86, 87, and 89. Sorry, 87, 88, and 89. That would still average 88. But the point is that 3 games average each time was 88 points. And so what we're trying to figure out is what would he need to score on the next 2 so the average comes out to be a 90. He wants to be like, oh yeah, my average is 90. He's obviously going to score better than just a 90, because if he got a 90, it would be 88 plus 88 plus 88 plus 90 plus 90. It's still going to put you something lower. So it's going to have to be something higher than 90, so that way whenever it averages with those 88s, it'll come out. So we know those first 3 scores. We're just going to call them 88 each, because that's a nice easy way to do it. Plus. And then there's going to be 2 more games, and we're just going to say, okay, we're going to call those scores X. Now, whenever we're wanting to find the average, we have to divide that by 5 because it's 5 games in total. The 3 he already played plus the 2 more. And we want this to equal to 90. So let's go ahead and start simplifying this down. First off, the 388s added together comes out to be 264. X, or 1x plus 1x, is equal to 2x. Dividing that by 5 is equal to 90. Right now this is being divided by 5. I don't want it to be divided by 5 anymore. So I'm going to do the opposite here. I'm going to multiply by 5. 5 divided by 5 just becomes 1, so I have 264 plus 2x is equal to 450. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 264 because I'm trying to get those x's by itself. Those two go to 0, leaving just 2x on the left-hand side. To borrow that, making that a 410, so 6, 3, 14, 186. And then almost there. This is multiplying, 2 times x, so the opposite of multiplying is going to divide. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so just that x value is going to come out to be half of 180 is going to be 90, and then half of 6 is 3. So 93. So he needs to score 93 points or better on the next two to have an average of at least 90. And one more here. It says because of heavy traffic, the 120-mile trip to San Diego took 3 hours. The traffic was lighter on the return trip, which took 2 hours. Find the average speed of each trip and for the round trip. So we're trying to find 3 different average speeds. So first off, he started at some location and he went to San Diego, and they tell us that's 120 miles. Okay. One time on the way there, going that direction, it took 3 hours. And on the return trip, going that direction, it took 2 hours. So notice the distance between the two ends is always 120. And so we need to find the average trip for the way there. So the average speed is miles per hour. So the miles that we went was 120 miles. And the hours that it took was 3 hours. Let's see, 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 12 4 times, so that means it'd go into 120 40 times. So the average speed going there was 40 miles per hour. So the average speed there, not so great if you're traveling that far, right? 3 hours at 40 miles an hour, it's not so much fun. Now on the way back, how far did he go? Well, still 120 miles. But this time it only took 2 hours. 2 goes into 2 one time and into 120 60 times. So it's going to be 60 miles per hour. So on the way there, 40 miles per hour. On the way back, 60 miles per hour. What about total? Well, we would need to calculate the total distance that he traveled, so that would be 120 miles plus 120 miles, right? Going there, coming back. Going there, it took him 3 hours. Coming back, it took him 2 hours. So that's going to be 240 miles over 5 hours. And 240 divided by 5, it comes out to be 48 miles per hour. Average on the way there, average on the way back, and overall average. If you have any questions, please let me know so I can help you out. I know you guys got this. Good luck, guys.